Thanks for coming back to the table. You know, it was actor Denzel Washington who said, "You never know how or when you'll have an impact or how important your example can be to someone else." That is certainly the case with motivational speaker Les Brown. He's touched a lot of us over the years, including our next guests, who say Les's words of wisdom have helped them time and time again. Radio host Dyron Walker grew up listening to Les Brown with his parents and says Les is really like a third parent in his life. Les didn't know it until today. It's personal life. He's a radio personality, he's a podcast host. Jennifer Bowers, same situation. She says there's just a particular quote, though, that Les Brown shared years ago that's carried her throughout the course of her years in radio as well. Please welcome Dyron and Jennifer to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So good to have you two. So listen, you see Les is looking at me like, what is about to go down? We did not talk about this in the pre-production of the show.
No, we did not.
We did not, and that's because my friends had some things that they wanted to share with you about the impact that you have had. Dyron, I want you to share your story first.
So growing up, of course, in my household, we were big on affirmations, big on positive thinking. The words that we share, the words we put out there, they have meaning, they have power. So growing up, even my older sister and my older brother would instill these powerful words into me, like, you're going to be a great leader, a great man. You know, you are set up to win and not fail. You're not going to survive, you're going to thrive. My mom would play a lot of motivational speaking on VHS.
That taking us back.
Tapes.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, the VHS tape. Yes, indeed.
And cassette tape. So through the house, you know, sometimes we're listening to house cleaning music, but also listening to motivational speaking. So I was very familiar with your name, very familiar with your voice, very familiar with your messages. And that's me being a child. That's me being a child. As I would go through life, I would experience the highs and lows of life that would come. And
you've had some lows that
Hurricane
that
Katrina.
hurt.
Let's say Hurricane Katrina for one.
Right.
Yes.
Losing everything in a storm, losing my father, being in an accident, shutting down the interstate, watching my house burn down, my childhood home burn down after my father passed away. So the highs and the lows, finding a brother the same age as me, and in a year and 6 months, him passing away. So
wow.
Highs and lows. And during the time of my lows, after my house burned down, before I found my brother, I actually stumbled across YouTube videos. And they would be Les Brown, motivational speaking. And they were the words that I remember as a child.
And it had been a while since you'd listened, right? Yeah. But you plugged right back in and kind of had your parents' wisdom. Our viewers have been looking at pictures of you with your family. These are the folks you were listening to, and now you tap right back in to the lessons.
If you look up, you can get up.
Yes.
Yeah. I love it.
Absolutely.
I love it. Jennifer, I want to bring you in here.
Yeah, sure.
Different experience, but essentially the same impact, right?
Yeah, very similar. So I actually was introduced to you, The Power of Purpose, that book. My mom actually shared it with me. And I was at the very beginning of my career. And I distinctly remember wondering, you know, somebody asked me the question, like, what do you want to do? What is it that you want to do? And I just remember thinking, I want to figure out what my purpose is, right? And it drew me back to your book. And I recently, kind of fast forward, recently made kind of a dream trip to New Zealand. And I'd been thinking about this place since 2016. And you know, there was just something that was pulling me there, something that was like, you've got to, there's something there for you. And so I went in January of last year, and I was hiking a mountain with a friend. She was ahead of me, and I was behind. And I like to kind of take my time. But there was a moment when I was just sort of in solitude by myself, where I literally heard this voice, and I believe it was God's voice. And it was, move and I will move mountains. Like, I literally just heard that. And since that time, you know, I felt that purpose, that connection. And it really, I mean, it's something powerful to have that experience, to feel like you're connected to something that allows you to feel purpose. And it drew me back to your book. And so I just
end up opening the book again and tapping back in. That's when you hear people, especially, I mean, By chance, or maybe not by chance, they're both in radio, right? Here in
Yes,
Atlanta,
what are
major.
chances, yes.
But you started in radio, but it's
yes,
still the
coincidence
impact.
is God's way of staying anonymous, because what's in me is also in them. And at this stage of my life, what's so exciting? I'm 80-ish. I'm doing a tour this year because I'm celebrating my 80th birthday.
Congratulations.
But you make me feel so good, because Dr. Miles Monroe, who was one of my most famous students, and he said, Les Brown, he said, there's no success without successors.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And so we have to take the time to pass on to those who are coming up how to begin to shorten their learning curve and pour into them. And so this stage of my life is to leverage what I've done, the knowledge that I've gained, how to orchestrate an experience with an audience to transform them individually and collectively.
Well, and
you get to see a future that I don't get to see, but I'll be with you spiritually.
Oh, that's beautiful. I know you each had a question. Dyron, I want to start with you.
All the years you've been motivating people and being a leader that you knew you and clearly you were, how do you come down in your own space to find time for yourself? When you're pouring into others, to remember to pour into yourself. What is that like for you?
Well, that's one of the things that I teach, is that you have got to give priority to yourself. I read a quote that really grabbed me. It said, a person with their health have 1,000 dreams, but a person without their health have only one. So I'm a fourth stage cancer conqueror and received the award from Cancer Centers of America, 39 years, fourth stage cancer conqueror. And the CEO of Cancer Centers of America, which is called City of Hope, said, how are you still here? And I said, because I never stopped believing that I could conquer this.
Right.
Yes, and pouring into myself.
We're going to take a break. Jennifer, you have a question. So right after the break, tell you what, we got time for you to pose the question and you think about the answer when we come to your question.
Yeah, well, when you talk about successors, what's some advice that you might give a successor?
And we're going to get that right after the break. Stay with us. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And I really want to thank you for season 3 of Portia. It's because of loyal viewers like you that we keep getting to share this daily dose of positivity all across the country. So just a reminder, I still need you to like, comment, and subscribe. And go ahead and tell your friends. You can catch us now in Orlando, in San Francisco, in Atlanta, and all across the country on Fox Soul. Tell your friends. We'll see you soon on Portia.